Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Well, my name is Mira. I'm doing my first ever YouTube video. I've been very much procrastinating on this for a long time. I want to take the opportunity to chat a bit about the PTE test that Amr and I took. And if you have seen my blog, I've just put up a post a couple of weeks ago about our experience doing the PTE test as we're trying to immigrate to Australia or trying to stay a bit longer than we can do at this time. You're probably listening to this because you're either planning to go to Australia, planning to take this PTE test, or already trying to take the PTE test, but it hasn't been working out for you. The reason why we were doing PTE in the first place is Amr and I have actually been in Australia for about 3 years now. We came in 2018. We came on different visas in the beginning, but now we would really like to stay a bit long term. We want to have that permanent residency here. It's called the PR in short. If you've been looking into it, you know what we're talking about. There are several kinds of permanent residency visas you can get, or even regional visas to stay longer term here, because everything else will, from work visas, temporary work visas, long-term work visas, or anything else will only give you a short period of stay in Australia, which is maybe 2 years maximum. If you're studying or if you're working, if you're doing work on holiday, it just doesn't let you stay here long term. If you go for the PR, you can stay pretty much as long as you want. That's what we're doing at the moment because we want to stay here. We want to settle a bit longer here. We're not sure yet if we're going to stay here forever because it is very far from both of our families. I'm from Germany and he's from UAE. So it takes a lot of travel time and especially a lot of money to go back home and just simply, see our parents, siblings, families, extended families, friends, whoever we grew up with. So we're just trying to stay a bit longer here and hopefully at some point achieve citizenship and be part of this beautiful country that we live in. So the PTE test is an English test, very similar to the IELTS or TOEFL test that is mainly used in Australia for immigration purposes. Obviously, you can do other English tests if you want to come to Australia, but the PTE test is, as far as we know, the easiest and the quickest way to get your points for the Australian immigration system, which you will need if you want to come. There's just no way around it. You have to do some kind of English test, and we just recommend to do the PTE test because there's no people involved, which means there's literally just the computer sitting there doing the testing for you. You just have to speak into a microphone, you just have to type in your answers, and the machine tests whatever, it thinks that your abilities are, which means there are templates that you can work with here to make it most easy and to get the fluency and to trick yourself around the machine to get the points that you need. With the person, it's just not that easy in the end. So how do we ace PTE? Both Amru and I, we have been speaking English for a very long time because we have been living overseas. I have learned English since I was in primary school. So we have constantly been speaking English and we have that English speaking and understanding ability already. So I guess most of the tips that we can give is for people who already do a lot of English speaking or a bit more fluent in English. If you're not, just go ahead and start, watching movies in English, speaking to your friends. I know it can be a bit awkward, but just go ahead and speak, because that was when I first started speaking English a bit more full time when I moved to Malaysia several years back. I'm not going to get into that now. I had issues just speaking the language. I was very awkward. I had very difficulties of, having the vocabulary that you needed to just have normal conversations, because usually you just don't learn that in school. So just start doing that and it'll help. But the PTE tips that we have, it's more for people who are already a bit more fluent, who just need that little extra step or little extra tip and push to actually ace the exam. For us, it actually helped to book the exam and then start studying, because you have that end goal. Because if you start studying and you don't book the test, you don't really feel the rush to actually study. So if you have the test booked in and you know it's coming close, so you actually know, okay, I actually gotta sit my ass down now and study. I was actually very anxious as soon as we booked the PTE test, because I hate exams, I hate tests, I get extremely nervous. So I start usually forgetting everything. I start sweating everywhere. My heart is pumping. So I already started getting super nervous when we just booked the test in 2 months ahead of time. So give yourself enough time to actually study for it. So what we started doing, we started looking at the different websites where you can buy mock tests, because we didn't want to start with the official Pearson website, because we just want to get used to or for myself especially, I just want to get used to the test format. How does it work? How are the questions? I've never done it before myself. It was Amru's second time, so he was used to it already. So we bought a few of the mock tests and just started doing that. I know it's very time consuming, but it really helps you just get used to the whole system of how the PTE works. So once you've done maybe 2 or 3 of those full exams, we just, took our weekends for that. Started right in the morning, so you get it over with by midday. Just try to be as proper with it as possible. With proper, I mean just really sit your ass down, be enclosed in a room where there's no one else, don't get disturbed by anyone in your household, and really sit down as you were in the exam, because otherwise it just doesn't make sense, because you want to create that exam environment for yourself to make sure you get the most accurate kind of result. So we started with exams where you get some kind of scoring. If you check out the link that I will put in here later, you can download our cheat sheet or just study guide that we put together. There's a few links of websites that we used. So the website that we used, it gives you some kind of scoring after you do the test. I think it's not very accurate, but it gives you some kind of idea where you're at. And then it gives you the scoring, which you can base on what do you need to focus on. So where do you feel like you need to do more? Where do you feel like you're not good at? Where do you feel very insecure about actually solving the questions? And then start just doing, blocks of questions themselves. Don't do the whole exam anymore. Say, I'm not good at the reading questions. Just do the reading questions. Do so many of them until you feel really secure and confident in doing them. And just continue doing that throughout all the kind of questions you just don't feel like you're that good at yet, or where you want to be better at. So once you've done all of those questions and you feel confident that you've really studied well, actually go ahead and buy those, I want to say, mock exams or more superior mock exams from the Pearson websites themselves, because they give you a lot of study material as well. However, they're a bit expensive, which is why we recommend starting with cheaper mock tests first, and then get your confidence built up, get your studying up, and then buy those mock tests from them. Especially also because the Pearson website, as far as we know, only give you 4 of those superior mock exams, which are almost identical to the exam that you will get during your exam, or at the exam day pretty much. So you only get those 4. We did actually make that mistake of buying those 4 2 times, but then the second time around we were literally realizing in the middle of the exam, this really seems a bit too familiar. I'm pretty sure I have solved exactly these questions again. I've got these texts before, I've heard these questions, I've listened to this, which is just, a waste of money in the end. So make sure that you only have those 4 a mock test from PTE or from the Pearson website, and they actually will give you a result, not per question, but an overall result, as you will get after your exam as well. And they will give you a very accurate result of where you're at. So once you've done all these questions, or all these study questions separately, go ahead and purchase the superior mock test from the Pearson website. Do one of those, just one, and see where you're at. You might not be, where you want to be if you have not aced it yet. If you still have or a few categories where you need to do more, then go back to the mock website where you had, the cheaper questions or the single questions, and go and do the questions again. Go over and over it until you ace them every time for, let's say, 5 to 10 times in a row. Otherwise, keep studying until you do that. Once you've done that, go back to the Pearson website and do another one of those mock tests that you purchased from their website, and they will get you the accurate result again. So overall, what helped us ace this PTE test the first time around was buy a lot of cheap mock tests, do them over and over again until you're comfortable with the whole format of the exam, you know how it goes, and you're not surprised by anything anymore, which I was in the beginning. Second of all, do a lot of single questions. Focus on the questions that you are not good at and not confident at. Do them so much that you can ace them in your sleep. Third of all, buy expensive mock tests from the Pearson website, do them and get the results or the exact results that you need, and then again do single questions and cheap mock tests until you get the result in the expensive mock tests that you need, focusing on the areas that you need to improve on. And third of all, make templates. We have templates in our study guide, which you can download in my website, which will really help you, especially in the speaking parts of the exam. Just get that fluency and not stutter and here and not knowing what to say pretty much. So we can only recommend, putting those templates out there, focusing, studying on what you want to say and not really winging it just by going in there and doing it however you feel like it. Speaking of templates, we have created a specific 2 templates for us, because when I was doing the PT mock tests and the single questions, my main areas of concern or issues were speaking and reading parts. Listening, I was spot on. I didn't really have to do anything more. Writing was also not really a concern for me, as I was quite fluent in writing. I had English throughout my whole high school and primary school and university years. I knew how to write essays and texts and whatnot. So speaking and reading were the issues for me. And for speaking specifically, we created templates, which you will find in the study guide that you can download and which will definitely help you. They made me ace the speaking part. Literally, that was the only thing that helped me ace the speaking part. So we did templates for the describe image and we did templates for the retell lecture. I always had issues with the retell lecture because I did not have a clue mostly what the people were talking about. What did I have to listen to? How should I summarize it? I'm really not the best in summarizing anything at all. So I get very nervous and missing out any information, and you just start babbling and trying to wing it, and it just never works out. So if you do have templates for these things, it will help you with the fluency. As I was never fluent enough, I always had my and then what else do I see in the image, or what else did the lecturer say? So it will definitely help you with the fluency, and it will help you with the right vocabulary, which is what they will be looking for in going through the test once you've finished it, or what the machine will be looking for in the end, because you need to hit these things additional to, pronunciation, things like that, which is then a bit up to you. You will find another, couple of tips from our side in the study guide, how you can ace that as well. So the templates we did for the describe image and the retell lecture were pretty much a layout of what you need to say and then fill in the gaps. So I can show you a quick example of how these templates will look like. They will be appearing on either side of me, and just have a quick look at that. And honestly, as soon as we did that, and as soon as I had that in mind with studying that, there was no issue for me at all anymore. That was it for me, and I was acing the speaking part throughout. And I'm sure it will help you as well, because you will literally just need to bullshit your way through this exam to make it, because you can literally get around this machine. You can literally write examples that you're making up. You can say, for example, I've read in the science journal, Science Today USA, that 70% of American teenagers cannot live with their mobile phones anymore. Or whatever you want to say. You can mention Superman. That's what I wrote it in his actual exam. He said, what did you say?
Oh, I said, Spider-Man said, with great power comes great responsibility.
And he aced his exam. literally, it is that easy. You just need to know how to bullshit your way through it, because that's the good thing with having a machine sitting on the other end. You can trick your way through the whole exam without really making sense, and without, really stressing yourself out way too much. So download the study guide, have a look at the templates, have a look at the tips that we have there, and I'm sure you will ace your exam if you follow those steps. Thumbs up for you.